this is the oval gusset on the Stride tights. And on the Stride tights, unlike the Inspire, you have to sew the center inside leg seam first, and that's what this seam is right here. This is the front of the tights, and this is the back, and this is the center leg. So what you're going to do on the oval shape, and I always do this, I always pin where the notch is. There's a notch that indicates what's the front part of the gusset and the back part. Pin the notch right along this inside leg seam, and then again start just a little bit above the about halfway down or a little bit above on that center crotch seam, and then as you come down to where that needs to be, I kind of just tuck that in there to make sure it's going to stay in there without slipping. Continue to sew. Take that pin out and sew this. Once you get past that center location, kind of start tugging this around, and so it evens up and lines up with the edge that you're sewing it to. So that's one side of the oval gusset, and that's how that looks. And then we're going to put the other side on the other half, and we're going to stitch all the way from the top down over that direction and then back up. Alright, so this is the other half that we haven't sewn the gusset to. We're going to put that right sides together, start at the very top where this is the center front seam, and then we're going to stitch all the way down. And again on this one, as I come around to this area, I like to fold the seam allowance back and out. And so when I stitch this, I'm going to come over this and try to leave that seam allowance folded this direction, and that way it just lays flatter and it lays a little bit nicer. This area will get lined up with, there's supposed to be a notch there, but that notch right there. So we'll just stitch around. I'm going to make sure that this is flat, so that seam allowance is under here, so it's in that direction. And we're just going to keep on going. And again, when you get to this other side, I like that seam allowance over in that direction. And then we're just going to continue on up all the way back up to the top of the center back. And you're done.